Jack Turner had everything: money, power, and a lavish life, but his world was empty. His son, Lucas, once full of joy, now sat in silence, trapped by the trauma of an accident that killed his wife and stole his ability to walk. Jack's wealth couldn't fix it, and every nanny he hired failed. That is, until Clare Dawson arrived, young, calm, and determined. She didn't just want to care for Lucas, she wanted to heal him. But little did Jack know, Clare would bring more than hope into their home. She would bring love when he least expected it. Jack Turner was one of the richest men in America, living in a luxurious New York penthouse, surrounded by grandeur and success. Yet, despite all his wealth and influence, his heart remained empty. His once vibrant life had become a routine of business meetings and lonely evenings. But nothing hurt more than seeing his 9-year-old son, Lucas, trapped in silence and sadness. Lucas had once been a joyful, energetic child, but the car accident that took his mother, Emily, changed everything. The crash left him unable to walk, and the emotional wounds ran even deeper. Once full of laughter, Lucas now barely spoke. He withdrew from the world, building walls no one could break through, not even his father. Jack had tried everything: expensive doctors, therapists, the best nannies, but nothing worked. Lucas remained cold, distant, and unresponsive. Every nanny Jack hired left within weeks, unable to reach the boy. Some quit out of frustration. Others simply couldn't handle the silence. Jack understood. It was hard to care for someone who refused to let anyone in. But that didn't make the pain any easier. His business demanded more of his time, and Lucas's emotional walls only grew taller. Jack felt like he was failing as a father, and for the first time, he considered giving up. Then, one day, he received a letter about a new nanny. With nothing left to lose, he decided to give her a chance. Lucas sat by the window, staring at the busy streets of New York. He used to love watching people, imagining their stories, his mother's voice weaving tales about strangers below. Now, those stories were just distant echoes of a life he no longer had. He heard his father's voice in the other room, speaking to someone, probably another nanny. Jack kept trying to fill their home with new people, but Lucas wasn't fooled. No one could replace his mother. No one could understand him like she did. The accident had stolen his joy, his laughter, his sense of belonging. He felt trapped, not just in his wheelchair, but in his own mind. He couldn't walk. He struggled to speak. And worst of all, he couldn't make his father smile anymore. Then she arrived. Her name was Clare Dawson. Unlike the previous nannies, she wasn't highly decorated with fancy degrees or long lists of credentials. In her mid-20s, Clare was full of quiet confidence. She didn't come across as overly eager or desperate to please. But there was something about her, an air of warmth, a quiet strength that set her apart. When Jack interviewed her, she spoke about Lucas with an understanding that left him surprised. "Mr. Turner, I know your son has been through something no child should ever experience, but is still a child. And children need love, patience, and consistency. He doesn't need another caretaker. He needs someone who believes in him." Jack's skepticism was apparent, but something about Clare's demeanor told him to give her a chance. She didn't seem like someone who would give up easily. "You're hired," Jack said, almost without thinking. Clare's smile was warm but modest. "I won't let you down." Clare climbed the grand staircase, her heartbeat steady. She reached his bedroom door and knocked gently. Silence. She knocked again. "Lucas, may I come in?" Still no answer. Taking that as permission, she pushed the door open. The room was dimly lit, curtains drawn. Lucas sat in his wheelchair near the window, staring outside. His face was expressionless, his brown eyes dull and lifeless. He didn't even glance at her. Clare took a few steps inside. "Hi, Lucas. I'm Clare, your new nanny. It's nice to meet you." As expected, Lucas didn't respond. Clare didn't flinch. She simply sat beside him, giving him space but making sure he knew she was there. She pulled out a book and started reading aloud, a simple story about a boy who felt lost after losing something dear. Halfway through, Lucas shifted slightly. A reaction. Clare noticed but didn't let it show. She kept reading, her voice calm yet engaging. When she finished a chapter, she closed the book. "Want me to continue?" she asked. Lucas remained silent, but in his eyes she caught the faintest flicker of curiosity. Claire stood. Maybe tomorrow, then. As she walked away, she saw it, his fingers twitching, as if he wanted to stop her but didn't know how. It was a start. Unlike the others, Claire didn't try to force Lucas to speak or smile. She didn't overwhelm him with activities or fake enthusiasm. Instead, she simply spent time with him. She told him funny stories. She played soft music in the room, filling the silence without pressuring him. She left puzzles near him, giving him the choice to engage whenever he felt ready. Day by day, Lucas began to respond in small ways. One afternoon, Claire brought out a set of paints and a blank canvas. "I bet you could make something cool with this," she said casually. Lucas looked at the paints but didn't move. Claire dipped her finger into the blue paint and smeared it across the canvas. "See? Easy." Still nothing. She sighed dramatically. "Wow, I must be the worst artist ever. You probably could do better, huh?" Silence. Then, to her shock, Lucas smirked. It was barely there, just the ghost of a smile, but Claire saw it. Her heart leaped. Was that a smile? "No way," she teased. "You're actually listening to me, aren't you?" Lucas turned his face away, but she knew she was getting through to him. As days turned into weeks, Lucas began to change. Claire took him outside for the first time in years, setting up a small picnic in the garden. She read him stories, ones he used to love. Slowly, his face softened. He even chuckled when she made silly voices for the characters. As weeks passed, Claire and Lucas became closer. Jack noticed a change the moment he stepped into the house one evening. He heard something he hadn't heard in a long time, his son's laughter. Curious, he followed the sound and found Lucas in his room, playing and laughing with Claire. Jack stood in the doorway, stunned. It didn't seem real. The boy who had shut everyone out was now smiling, happy. Jack's mind filled with questions. How was this possible? Could Claire really have made such a difference? Was it all just an act? Doubt crept in, and Jack found himself doing something he never thought he would, checking the security cameras. He had installed them for Lucas's safety and to monitor the staff, but now he felt guilty for spying. Still, he couldn't stop himself. As he watched the footage, his heart pounded. He saw Claire in the garden, kneeling beside Lucas's wheelchair. She was laughing, making silly faces, and Lucas, his quiet, withdrawn son, was smiling back at her. Jack's chest tightened. He had tried everything to bring back that smile, yet Claire had done it so effortlessly. But that wasn't all. Late at night, when everyone else was asleep, Claire would sit by Lucas's bedside. She held his small hand, read him bedtime stories, and watched over him as he slept. Jack's breath caught in his throat. She truly cared. This wasn't just a job to her. And for the first time in years, he felt something he had almost forgotten. Hope. One evening, as Claire helped Lucas with a drawing, Jack couldn't contain his feelings any longer. He walked over to her, his voice trembling. "Claire, I don't know how to thank you. You've done more for Lucas than anyone else ever could," he said, his voice thick with emotion. Claire looked up at him, her expression kind. "I'm just doing my job, Jack, but I'm glad it's working." Jack stared at her, something stirring deep within him. He had never felt this way before. There was a spark between them, a connection that went beyond gratitude or sympathy. That night, Jack found himself alone in his study, thinking about Claire. His mind raced. He had never expected to feel this way about her. She had come into their lives as a nanny, but now she was so much more. The next morning, Jack sat down with Claire. "I've been thinking," he began, his voice quiet but sincere. "What you've done for Lucas, what you've done for me, it means more than words can express. I've never felt this way before, but I think I'm falling for you." Claire was silent for a moment, and Jack held his breath, afraid of what she might say. Finally, she spoke, her voice soft but certain. "I feel the same way, Jack, but we have to be careful. Lucas needs stability, and so do we." Jack and Claire took things slowly, allowing their relationship to grow organically. As they spent more time together, they found themselves falling deeper in love. They made sure Lucas was at the center of everything, ensuring his happiness and well-being came first. Months later, Jack took Claire's hand in his, and with Lucas by their side, he asked her a simple question. "Will you marry me?" Tears filled Claire's eyes as she nodded. "Yes, Jack. Yes, I will." Jack, Claire, and Lucas became a family. Jack never thought he would find love again after Emily's death, but Claire had shown him that there was still hope. Together, they built a new life, one filled with love, laughter, and healing. Lucas, once a quiet, withdrawn boy, became a happy and vibrant child again. He walked, played, and laughed alongside his new family. Jack had searched for someone to care for his son, someone patient, kind, and unwavering. But in Claire, he found so much more. She didn't just bring laughter back into Lucas's life. She brought light into their home, warmth into their hearts, and hope into a place that had long been shadowed by loss. Without meaning to, she had done the impossible. She had made Jack believe in love again. With Claire by their side, they weren't just healing. They were whole. The end. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe for more heartfelt stories.